I'm probably going to move all in, but I might just call. This is fun.
Wow, what a big card there for Tony on the river. He's made the straight. The bet is 25,000 from Jennifer. Wow! She's managed to get him to lay down top set in this fight.
I think I could come back later and get some more action.
We have a new face to join the crowd. It's Gus Hansen.
This game is so amazing. We have some of the best players waiting in the wings. Pretty nice flop for Gus Hansen. He has flopped the straight. He has a wheel.
Welcome to the Full Tilt Poker $1 Million cash game from 50 London. This sensational venue, however, is more than ably matched by our poker playing talent this evening. 13 of the most famous faces in the game, all trying to outwit and outthink each other as they aim to make as much profit as possible by the end of the game. Each player is starting with a minimum of $100,000 of their own cash, and if they lose it, they can simply reach back into their pockets and buy back in. The starting lineup for this game is a who's who of poker stars. In seat 1, it's John Juanda from California, famous for tournaments, but can often be found in high-stakes, no-limit games. Seat 2 is probably one of the top 3 cash game players in the world, Jennifer Harmon. She regularly plays in the big game at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Next up is the only person to win 4 World Poker Tour titles, Gus Hansen, originally from Denmark, but now spending most of his time commuting from Monte Carlo to Las Vegas. Then the man who needs no introduction, Phil Ivey, with 5 World Series of Poker bracelets and also another regular visitor to the Bellagio's $4,000, $8,000 limit game. In seat 5, it's British pro Mark Goodwin, who reportedly makes just as much money gambling on golf with Phil Ivey as he does playing poker. In seat 6, it's Mike the Mouth Mattisau, self-confessed best player at the table. He's won over $4.2 million in tournaments, but loves the cash games just as much. Then in 7, it's the Professor, Howard Lederer, who apparently has given up playing cash games, but just a few years ago was playing in the biggest game ever with Jennifer Harmon and Doyle Brunson, to name just 2. Finally, in seat 8, it's billionaire retired businessman from Ireland, Alan Smurfit, who now plays poker as a hobby to some success. But who out of these players and more will take home the money and the title? Let's get straight to the action and join our commentary team of David Tuchman and Gary Jones.
The greatest poker players are here at 50 London for the Full Tilt Poker $1 Million cash game.
Here comes the Mouth himself.
Now, you see, most of these players are trying to avoid playing hands out of position, but Mike Mattisau has no problem with it. Jack 10 offsuit? Okay, there.
15 will for you.
Well, there's no way Gus Hansen throws away a pair in the small blinds.
Suited connectors, pair, any kind of half hand, and he's happy to play. And speaking of suited connectors, here's Mark. But one thing to note is one of the 6s for Gus Hansen's in that hand.
Oh, it's a nice start from Mark Goodwin there.
The pocket 6s are good at the moment for Gus. If he bets and Mark Goodwin calls, we'll probably see Mattisau throw this one away.
Now, Mark Goodwin hasn't played many hands. He plays it very tight. Might he be able to raise on the come?
Yeah, he might actually be able to get rid of Gus if he did raise here. This is a feeler bet from Gus. He wants to know whether his 6s are good. Doesn't want to be calling anyone else. But he hasn't raised it. At the moment, he's got a few cards to catch. He's got a 3, a 7 and an 8. And that is one of them. And it looks like a nice card for Gus as well, because if it had been up against a 9, now we'd have an up and down straight. But as it is, he's drawing to a 7 just to split the pot.
Mark Goodwin with the absolute nuts right now.
Of course, Gus has got to try and decide what Mark Goodwin is calling him with on the flop.
Right, a lot of hands he could be calling with. Obviously a 9 hearts, or in this case 6-7.
The way Gus plays, of course, he could have been calling with a 5 or 4. That's what Gus is obviously hoping.
10,600.
Well, Gus Hansen's going to bet 10,600 into the pot.
Now, the question is, how does Mark play this? He knows he's got the best hand right now. Does he want to leave Gus Hansen betting up front while he has position, knowing that if a blank comes on the end, he's quite likely to get another bet out of Gus, whether he's got a hand or not?
All right.
No. He's decided to put the pressure on Gus. Doesn't want to give him a free card if he's got a heart.
Now, this is interesting raise, obviously. Gus Hansen's put in a spot where he's going to have to call a raise, and he is drawing dead to chop it.
Raise 21,000.
That's a mighty big raise, 21,000 more.
I think that's what Gus Hansen was thinking. Pot is now 46,000.
All right, I don't know why it is.
He's laid it down, and I don't blame him. I think he's worked out there's not really a lot there he can be in good shape against. He might have 10 outs if he's lucky. The pot's laying him 2-1. If he thinks he's up against, say, a set of 4s or set of 5s.
I don't judge. Huh? I don't judge if you want to rabbit hunt.
To get started, one player has made the nominated dealer or button. Then the 2 players to the left post the small and big blinds. These are forced bets to get the action started. The big blind is always double the small. Unlike a tournament, the blinds stay at a set level for the whole game. In this case, $300 and $600. Plus, there's an ante of $100 per player, which must be paid if they want to play in a hand. Once the blinds and antes are posted, everyone has dealt 2 cards. We have a round of betting. Then 3 cards are placed face up on the table, called the flop. These are the community cards for all the players to use. Then we have another round of betting, after which the 4th card, the turn, is placed in the middle, followed by some more betting, and the last community card, the river. Then we finish off with a final round of betting. The best 5-card hand wins the money.
David Tuchman and Gary Jones here. Chris Ferguson, 2000 World Series of Poker main event champion, looking on. Jesus there, with his trademark long hair and his hat. And we are 7-handed here right now. We're playing short. One of the players has actually gotten up and taken a break, which happens often in cash games. And when you're short-handed, obviously you've got to adapt and adjust to playing against fewer opponents.
Yeah, it makes a big difference depending on how many players are around the table, your relative hand values. Hands like King Jack in the middle position is suddenly a raising hand rather than maybe it wasn't before. Looks like Howard Leder is going to take a break, pick up his chips, and leave the table for a while. He's probably decided to let Chris Ferguson come in, and we're going to get someone who's won 2 World Series bracelets and 2 WPT titles getting up and making way for a world champion in Chris Ferguson.
As if the lineup wasn't tough enough already, here we have 2000 World Series Poker champion Chris Ferguson.
Not an awful lot of familiarity playing this kind of stakes cash, though, Chris. So it's going to be interesting to see how he settles down, whether he wants to try and mix it up, or as I expect, I think he's probably going to sit back and play this one quite tight. Not get involved too much. It'll probably be pretty well the same as when we had Howard Lederer in that spot. Not doing anything too creative.
I spoke to him earlier, and he assured me, because poker is poker.
Yeah, it doesn't make a great deal of difference whether you're playing tournaments or cash. You're still making reads. Still about understanding players. And here's Jennifer Harman with ace-king.
Jennifer Harman, our big winner so far.
Are you riding the broom on me already?
Wow.
Yep, she's raced it up.
Look at these cards. I call.
But you didn't notice, right?
Phil's cool.
It's the
Yeah,
Mad
I
Hatter.
don't think I
The
know
Mad
that.
Hatter is joined us.
But you'd have made it 20-something.
Mark Goodwin's in as well with his 9-10. So's Mike with his 5-3.
Wow, and there's a set for Phil Ivey.
Check. Check. $4.
Well, it's definitely the best hand right now.
Yeah, he doesn't slow play it. He bets it right away.
Best way to get some money.
Raising 15.
Mattisau raises it up here. He's got bottom pair and a gut shot straight draw.
Wow, that's a big bet with that kind of a hand. He's obviously trying to push Phil off the pot. Everyone else has cleared out the way. And left it open for these two to do battle. So far, Mike's got the better of these battles, but right now he's drawing pretty slim.
Well, right now there's only two hands that Ivey can lose to. A set of sevens or 5-6.
Right. $30.
30 more to the mouth.
Now Ivey has re-raised him. He is out of position. He can't really afford to check it.
Yeah, he can't afford